Clarke's sci-fi novel Rescue Party is one of his early works. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, the story unfolds as a higher civilization from the cosmos arrives on Earth to rescue humanity. Through the lens of this alien civilization, Clarke paints a picture of a future Earth where humanity, after a period of steel and concrete, returns to nature. Yet the pace of human technological advancement far surpasses what the alien civilization could ever imagine. The story concludes with a thought-provoking twist, suggesting that perhaps arrogance is an inevitable flaw in the development of any civilization. Clarke is hailed as one of the greatest science fiction and popular science writers of all time, often mentioned alongside Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein as one of the three titans of 20th century sci-fi. Since the dawn of history, the Alvalons have been the leaders of the universe, among the first life forms to emerge, giving them a significant advantage in forming an interstellar federation. Their leadership stems not only from their immense wisdom, but also from their noble qualities, and crucially, from their fleet of over 12,000 ships, allowing them to manage 800 million galaxies and conduct routine inspections every million years. Civilized planets discovered during these inspections receive the protection of the universe's leaders, who ensure their survival in times of disaster without interfering in their natural development. However, any oversight in managing the galaxies falls squarely on Alvalon and his kind. At this moment, Alvalon is leading his fleet to a planet recently devoured by its star. The planet had just emitted a signal that was only recently detected. According to the interstellar intelligence reports, it harbors a rare civilization that has evolved sentience in under 400,000 years and had been broadcasting signals for 200 years. If Alvalon can save them, it would be a remarkable addition to his race's legacy. Yet upon arrival at the star system, they discover the star is on the brink of a nova explosion. As their journey from departure to arrival spans several centuries for the small planet, this mission is destined for tragedy. Their primary task becomes establishing contact with this doomed civilization and, if possible, rescuing a few members. A single ship cannot save an entire race. With only their ship racing against a potential supernova, they feel the weight of impending doom. The vessel slowly plunges into the storm enveloping the planet's surface. Occasional coronal mass ejections have left it scorched and barren, a sight they've witnessed too often over the millennia. Alvalon briefs his crew. The situation is dire. We are the only ship capable of sensing this planet, and time is limited. We have only 4 hours left. We must locate this doomed race and save them if we can. Given past experience, they may be hiding in some structure. While it may be futile, I wish them luck, and may we manage to rescue them in time. The ship glides through the night, illuminated by eerie auroras casting strange light on the desolate landscape, leading to a flat-topped mountain where an intricate metal framework stretches from the jagged rock across the plain. Dozens of enormous mirrors atop the framework point skyward, all slightly concave. Each mirror's center houses complex machinery, suggesting this vast array carries some significant meaning as each mirror accurately aligns with a distant point in space. Alvalon commands the ship to halt and hover down to the mountain's peak. As he surveys these colossal structures, he informs his crew, "This appears to be an observatory. I've seen similar communication devices on over 100 other planets. Those mirrors are designed to focus radio beams. Perhaps this is the source of the signal we received. Given the weakness of the signal, it's no wonder we didn't detect this civilization earlier." Typically, a race evolves from mastering radio technology to interstellar travel over 30 million years. They likely lack the capability for space travel, so we'll need to search for them here on this planet. Suddenly, the ship's automated sensors emit a cacophony of static. It's noise from the mirrors, a sound Alvalon recognizes well, typically associated with low-level civilizations' radio broadcasts. However, he doubts these signals will aid their rescue efforts. His experience tells him they're likely mere entertainment broadcasts, and based on the ship's signal location, the mirrors seem to be aimed at the vastness of space. Still, he decides to transmit these signals to the Interstellar Intelligence Bureau for decoding. If this low-level race has indeed perished, these signals could serve as the only record of their existence. The scrap metal of the mirrors offers no tangible leads to find survivors. They need direct evidence of the civilization, like the cities they once inhabited. With this goal, they head towards the distant structures. Yet, as the mirrors fade from view, a thought strikes Alvalon. Did those mirrors adjust slightly to align with the planet's rotation? Were they perhaps set to point toward a specific location all along? However, he quickly dismisses this notion, reasoning that it merely indicates the radio station's directional system is still operational. What would a dying civilization seek among the stars? Their immediate priority must be to find the low-level race. The ship moves deeper into the urban center, where landing craft are scattered among the ruins of tall buildings. Despite the decay, Alvalon calmly remarks, "We seem close to locating these beings. This should be their last refuge." Normally, a low-level civilization would dig down to evade extinction. But in reality, even if they reached the planet's core, their fate would be the same, delaying the inevitable by a few hours. The impending shockwave would soon engulf the entire galaxy, leaving them with no chance of escape. He leads his team to search for the natives, but the area is mostly devoid of life, except for machines. The only worthwhile discovery is a series of thousands of file cabinets, each containing thin, resilient cards. In truth, this is one of the greatest marvels of these original inhabitants. These cards record the information of every individual and chronicle the entire history of their civilization since its inception. Though the current conditions render this information indecipherable, Alvalon deduces this must be the civilization's tombstone. Aware of their doomed fate, they stored records of their history and transmitted them via radio waves into space, aiming for a form of spiritual immortality. This practice isn't uncommon among lower civilizations, yet it's remarkable for a race that has only mastered radio technology for 2 centuries. These are simple conjectures, yet they lead Alvalon to ponder more about this race. He's eager to see what other surprises this place might hold. With anticipation, they reach the end of the corridor, feeling the presence of life growing stronger. They enter a cylindrical room, lavishly decorated along the walls. However, once all crew members are inside, the entrance swiftly closes and a raspy recording from the natives begins to play. The room starts shaking, rapidly descending deeper into the ground. Alvalon sighs softly. They've even learned automation. It seems my assumptions were correct. They might have truly hidden within the Earth's core and we're close to finding them. But as seconds tick by, it becomes evident that this transportation method shows no signs of stopping, while only 30 minutes remain for the rescue team. If the extraterrestrial team doesn't leave soon, they'll meet the same fate as the planet. If it were just Alvalon, he'd stay until the last moment to honor the nobility of the race, but he cannot risk his crew's safety. They must evacuate. Calmly, Alvalon announces, mission concluded. The life on this planet has likely led to its own extinction before the end. They might have foolishly burrowed deeper into the Earth to delay their fate, but regardless of how this unfolds, the outcome is sealed. Time is up. All crew, prepare for immediate evacuation. The crew voices little dissent. They all understood this rescue would likely end in tragedy. With a sense of disillusionment, they swiftly return to the ship. The supernova explosion hasn't begun, but the foreboding signs of a nova are already evident. Waves towering a mile high crash against the shore, and the land beneath the ship is swallowed by the growing tide. The last view of the planet is a vast plain bathed in bright silver moonlight, shimmering floods rushing towards the distant mountains. Soon both sea and land will vanish. As the rescue team watches this apocalyptic scene, a calamity far worse than this descends. The land illuminated by moonlight seems to welcome dawn, but it's no dawn. It's the moon itself, shining like a second sun, its terrifying light scorching the land below the ship. 30 seconds later, warning lights flash on the ship's control panel. The main engine ignites. Alvalon glances at the lights, and when he looks back at the screen, Earth has vanished. Through the observation screen, Alvalon witnesses the destruction of the star system. Yet he doesn't applaud this magnificent spectacle of nature. Instead, he reflects on the recently obliterated planet, imagining its former prosperity. They were primitive, yet they should have had something to offer the universe. Before the rescue team arrived, the inhabitants must have hidden deep within the iron core of their planet. Now they and their civilization will forever remain a mystery. But this disappointment lasts less than 3 days as the Interstellar Intelligence Bureau suddenly transmits new information. They've decoded the signals emitted by that planet, revealing videos and pure scientific data. It seems the planet had cameras deployed throughout its surface to observe crucial locations, possibly for reading instruments. The massive mirrors weren't designed to transmit signals within the planet. Instead, they were meant for interstellar communication, targeting something beyond the plane of the galaxy. Suddenly, Alvalon had a strange thought. They might have underestimated this species. Perhaps these so-called primitive beings had already mastered interstellar travel, which seemed nearly impossible. After all, it took humanity centuries to reach space and even longer to explore beyond. If faced with imminent extinction, could they achieve such a feat in such a short time? With these questions in mind, they followed the path of the signal beam, only to be astonished by what they discovered. At first, their monitoring screens showed nothing but a nebula. But as the image zoomed in, gasps filled the room. What they saw was an entire interstellar fleet from that species, a dazzling array of thousands of lights forming a perfectly aligned formation, stretching across vast distances in space. Each point of light represented a ship larger than theirs, propelled by the most primitive rockets. Their speed was negligible on an interstellar scale, meaning it would take centuries to reach the nearest star. This expedition's journey would far exceed the lifespan of any individual. Only future generations would see its end. No one could fathom what these beings were thinking as they ventured from solid ground into the depths of the cosmos. This was the Earth species, the one that had only discovered electromagnetic waves 2 centuries earlier, one they had assumed was hiding within their planet's core. Facing imminent extinction, they had achieved something remarkable in such a short span. In the grand scheme of the universe, this young civilization was undertaking one of the greatest journeys ever. An hour later, Alvalon prepared to leave the mothership and make first contact with the magnificent fleet ahead. He turned to address his crew. In the years that followed, the crew often recalled his words. "I wonder what kind of beings they are. Will they all be brilliant engineers with no appreciation for art or philosophy? Our arrival will surely astonish them. I suspect their pride will take a hit, as isolated civilizations often believe they are the only intelligent life in the universe. Yet they will be grateful. We will help them finish their journey hundreds of years sooner." Alvalon surveyed the galaxy, its silver mist spreading across the screen. His gaze swept from the central black hole to the lonely stars at the galaxy's edge. "Do you know, I'm a bit afraid of these beings. What if they don't like our old interstellar federation? Regardless, they must be the most resilient of lives. We should be polite. After all, our population is only 1 billion times greater than theirs, haha." The crew chuckled at the captain's light-heartedness. But 20 years later, those words would no longer seem amusing.